What's up everybody, Jaxxsin here, and today I want to talk about video games that come across our past and kind of change the way we look at video games as a whole, or certain genres. You know, a perfect example for you is The Witcher 3. That completely shattered my expectations from a $60 AAA title. That shattered my expectations from an RPG game. Like, it went above and beyond and just blew my mind, you know, like, just redefined the way I kind of looked at video games as a whole. You know, the following. Dying Light DLC, that's another perfect example of, you know, for $20 they sold almost a second game. Just kind of blew my mind and, you know, changed the way I look at DLCs a little bit and the prices involved. Alright, today the game I'm talking about is no different, and I hold it in the same esteem. You know, to a lesser degree maybe, but the same esteem. And that game is Risk of Rain. Risk of Rain was a game that I was aware of, but not to the extent of how aware I am of it now that I've played it. The thing that sold me on this game, that really got me to go for it, was the roguelite elements, which I love. I love randomness in my game. I love a game that ever changes. It adds a ton of replayability to those experiences. You know, if you haven't played Rogue Legacy, that's one I'd say, you know, is an excellent game. If you enjoy 2D side scrolls, you know what I mean? If you enjoy games where the only thing smaller than your sprite is his tiny pixelated penis. But I extremely enjoy these games. They're just a callback to everything I love about video games. And more often than not, these indie games, you know, I'm sorry, they're a little bit more disappointing more often than not, where you feel almost like, you know, I played a game when I was a kid that had better controls, you know, more responsive controls, you know, better elements to the, you know, than this. Why does this even exist? You know, it's almost like people are still fucking just photoshopping or photocopying games, you know what I mean? Just like the same game, just another clone, just another clone. But the roguelite, the roguelite elements, you know, with the random, okay, so each level you gotta find the teleporter, you gotta activate it, you gotta fight off waves of enemies and get out, right? The levels are ever changing, they come in random order, so you get different levels each playthrough. The teleporters are always in random locations, different locations, you know, so you never really know where you're supposed to go within the level. Even though you already know this level, you still don't know where you're supposed to go. I enjoy things like that. That shit adds fresh replayability every time I play this game. Alright, and I'm just scratching the surface right now of this game, you guys. This game has a depth and level to it that you would not believe. And I mean, me and my brother are still working on filling it out and, you know, closing the gap on all of these things that are available in this game. So who are you playing as in this? You know, what's the story to Risk of Rain? You're gonna play one of 12 possible survivors, and you're gonna need to unlock 11 of these through gameplay. You're gonna start off with just the commando, and the others will become available. Now, these classes are incredibly unique. Each one of them has, you know, 4 skills, one being an auto attack, and then 3 that are cooldown skills, and they're all unique, they're all well thought out. Each character plays different than the last. There's not 2 characters that play the same. There's not 2 characters that have the same type of skills. You know, they're all unique, they all have their own little story at the ending. You know, it's one line of dialogue, but it's different every time depending on who you beat the game with. And that's very fucking cool. Some of these characters are really hard to unlock, you know, some of them not so much so. Me and my brother did this by putting the difficulty on Drizzle. It seemed to help quite a bit. Just to help us get the things unlocked that we wanted to unlock, like the characters and, you know, the other artifacts. The artifacts are a cool little, you know, another cool little thing in this game. They're hidden throughout the world and they randomly spawn as well, so they may be there, they may not be there in the location where they spawn. And these add a little flavor to variety to the gameplay by doing certain little things, you know, making the game different once again, modifying the game to the desire of the player, which is only ever an amazing idea, right? And they do this in another way through the loot in the game. Over 100 items available, you guys. They add, you know, some add attack speed, some add bleeding effects, some add poison effects, some add, you know, There's some that give you an electric shield around you that deals damage within the field. There's items that surround you by circling chunks of frost that deal damage whenever you get a kill. There's items that heal you when you get a kill. There's items that will heal you when you deal damage, you know what I mean? And all of these items can be found in the item log, and once you unlock these, you know, these aren't all going to be available right away. You're going to have to unlock a lot of these through challenges within the world, challenges through gameplay with the characters, and you know, but the reward of this is amazing. Each one of these things comes with a detailed, you know, like little lore bit down there, adds flavor to the game, adds a little more to the story, leading to like kind of like a Souls-like style thing. It's very fucking awesome, very cool, very well thought out. You know, once you amass these items too, you just turn into this like unstoppable, you know, herc. You know, me and my brother were playing the other night so long that he literally was falling asleep because he didn't need to do anything but sit there and shoot. And everything would die, and he would, you know, he was falling asleep. It was very funny. But that's just how overpowered we had become through amassing all of these items. And you know, normally these items will be randomly dropped by boss, so you may get a healing item, you may get a damage item, you may get, you know, you just get what you get, it's random. But there's a modifier in the artifacts that you can get that actually allow you, that the boss will drop like a chest on the game and it'll let you choose it. And that's just fun because it adds this element of like you're getting loot and you get to decide what you get. And at the same time, there's pressure on you because as the timer goes up, the enemies get coming faster and faster and faster. And this, you know, stresses you out and makes you have to pick items fast, you know what I mean, just to get the loot off the ground, because there's just no relief in this game at a certain point once you hit that max difficulty setting. But it's an awesome experience with the items. It gives the player the freedom to decide what he wants to play with, what he wants to do, and since every character is unique, then you end up with this incredibly unique experience each time you play through this game with a new character. You're building him differently, you're buying what worked for, you know, the archer may not work for, say, the mercenary who's got a sword, obviously, you know, so you're gonna have to build him a little bit different. What worked for, you know, the engineer who is all about turrets and, you know, missiles and mines may not be the best thing to build for like the miner who's all about AE damage, you know, around his direct, you know, area, plus, you know, some dodges, pushes, and pulls. You know what I mean? So like you gotta, each character is different. Each time you play this game, it's a different experience. And the reason I hold this game in the same esteem as I do games like The Witcher and games like, you know, Dying Light, and games like that just make a mark on me as what I should expect. And it's because it's nowadays. We're living in the modern age of gaming when it's all bullshit, mirrors, and, you know, smoke and mirrors everywhere you turn, and you buy a game and you're not secure in what you're buying anymore because it's always a fucking pamphlet inside telling you that more of the game will become available in 2 months. You know they're not building that shit in 2 months. You know that it's already finished and that it's been purposefully removed from the game that you just bought so that they could sell it to you later to get more of your money. You know, it's almost as if it was the same thing as if you went to the movie and there was only an hour and at the end of it it said, coming next week, you know, the next hour, the conclusion, come see it, you know, and you had to buy another ticket for it. It's the same fucking difference. So, if that was the case, then a company that came out with a movie that was a 2-hour-long movie, you know, they would be praised and they would be, you know, held high, in a high esteem. And that's why I hold these guys in a high esteem. Because, you know, Risk of Rain is a $10 game that ended up having more, you know, just spice, flavor, and replayability than a lot of the games that come out nowadays. It's got, you know, up to 4-player co-op. It's got online capabilities, so you can play this online with friends. It's got, you know, it's got everything you could ever want out of a game for $10. You know, small, dinky, little fucking pixelated, you know, piece of shit, some would say. But, you know, in my opinion, the graphics give it a charm all its own, and some of these planets, and combined with the music in this game, which I haven't even touched on a minute, and I'd like to now. The music in this game is outstanding. You can tell that the music is just as art-driven as the rest of this game was, as, you know, from the little teeny pixelated characters that are so small you can barely see them, but when you get, you know, you squint your eyes, you can tell that they're all incredibly detailed, and they're all unique. You know, and each song is unique and incredibly detailed. There's these guitar licks that just fucking, you know, they capture you, and when you're in the moment of just this onslaught of aliens just trying to kill you, you know, and you're just doing everything, you might be running and panicking, you find the music fitting that mood that you're in, like the desperation or kind of the mellow, you know, like calm before the storm. Even there's songs that fit that, and you know, just an amazing game for $10. And that's my little critique and review on it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you did or didn't, with up clicks and down clicks and fuck yous or hell yes in the comments. And I hope y'all get a chance to play this, man. If if you're worried about it, you don't think, you know, it doesn't look up your speed, you just think about it like this. It's $10. What do you gotta lose? You know, and I will say this. The opening is a little bit draggy because it takes several playthroughs. You know, you're unlocking stuff for dying, you know, like, so, you know, you're meant to die a lot early on until you unlock some of these. My recommendation would be put it on Drizzle until you unlock more characters, you find a character and a build you're kind of comfortable with, then crank up the difficulty. That's just because I'm a big believer of dipping my toes in water before jumping in. It's just kind of always been the way I am. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Jaxxsin, I'm out of here. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Take care and keep being fucking awesome as awesome can be.